nets come up heavy with the riches of the sea. Most prized of all is a small but tasty creature, welcomed everywhere. Shrimp is one word for it. In Spanish, it is called Camaron. Treasures from the Sea of Cortez brings you Camaron. The fishing fleet is in port. These little ships are the lifeline of an almost unknown land, only a step from the American border. This is Puerto Peñasco, Rocky Point, on the Gulf of California. This is Mexico. The quest for the treasures of the sea is as old as mankind. It begins here with the building of the ship. The traditional skills of the harbor city and the knowledge and methods of modern science combine in this campaign against the open ocean. It must be a seaworthy vessel. The Sea of Cortez is not easily challenged. It gives up its shrimp and other treasures only to taut ships and tireless men. Puerto Peñasco contributes more than its share to the development and construction of Mexican ships. Progress is good. The designer and the builders are convinced this will be a happy ship, worthy of its companions. And in Mexico, a hard job well done calls for a fiesta. celebration as well as a shakedown cruise. It is a moment for patriotic pride. For a new understanding of earth and water. And a toast to success at sea. It's also a time for the fun of an excursion to a nearby island. But there are some solemn moments, too. The Padre has come along to help observe them.
Aveo custodiantur in omnibus vis, et ad propositam sibi metam feliciter inducantur per Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen.
The lives of men and the prosperity of their families will ride with this good ship. And above all human skills, there is the hand of Providence. Cheers for a dedicated ship. And on to the entertainments of the island. The natives are friendly, as well as amusing. The ship has proved itself. It is ready to take its place in the fishing fleet of Puerto Penasco. This is the Bernadette. She is a veteran of shrimp fishing in the Gulf of California. And she is ready to leave Puerto Penasco, Mexico again for another 15 days at sea. The wisdom of years guides the captain's judgment. And there's a steady throb of power at his fingertips. These look like good shrimp waters. some sustenance for the night's work. Shrimp go deep in daylight, rise near the surface only after dark. The sample net shows how the catch is going. It will indicate when it is worthwhile to bring the big nets in. There is no time clock aboard the Bernadette. Work goes on day and night, with a bite of food and a wink of sleep snatched on the run. And when the sample net gives the go sign, work begins at a fever pitch. A few quick tugs at the drawstrings, and it looks as if the sea has tossed its cargo on the deck. And after the nets are out again, there are frantic moments on deck. Above all, to find and save the shrimp, to select the other marketable fish, to discard those that are worthless, and at all times to avoid those that are poisonous. There's many a harmful sting in this writhing mass. Some tourists will love this specimen. The prospect of free food keeps daytime birds up all night. The galley provides more pleasant fellowship. Favorite drink, an energy-giving mix of cornstarch, water, and sugar. And always the alertness of the man at the helm. Once the job is done, clean up and be prepared to do it all over again. Nobody finds this stingray a welcome passenger. But as every sailor knows, there's always something else that needs to be swabbed, painted, or repaired. When the sea is not at all lonely. The begging gulls and pelicans provide far more companionship than any fisherman wants. Preparation of these plump shrimp for market begins right here aboard the Bernadette. It takes a quick, deft hand and a sharp eye. Soon these delicacies will grace many a table in distant places. Here's the answer to what shrimp fishermen do when they're not fishing for shrimp. They fish for something else. In this case, they're after the delectable pinto, which abound in these waters. Quiet, please. The captain himself gets the first strike. And soon the pintos are pouring on deck from all sides. No doubt that these fishermen are just as adept with hook and line as they are with nets. And this sideline, which is almost a recreation, is important to the total income of the voyage. Unlike most fishermen, those aboard the Bernadette don't complain about having to clean their catch. It's all part of the job. And it will all show up in the family budget back home in Puerto Penasco. But for now, home is the deck of the ship. The men work here, eat here, sleep here. Below decks, in addition to the engine room, is fish on ice. Ice by the ton, fish by the thousands. And now the ceaseless round begins again. Nights and days will soon blend into each other in the unending pursuit of the catch. Through it all, there is security in the tireless figure of the captain on the bridge. There is satisfaction in the knowledge of good workmanship among good men on a happy ship. And now to snatch a cargo away from danger. This is the shallow, silt-laden delta, where the muddy Colorado River drains into the Gulf. Here, there is no depth for shrimp to run to, and they may be taken in daylight almost on the surface. In these shallows, no prudent captain would take his vessel at night. And even in the daytime, caution dictates every move. The Bernadette threads her way through the straits between the mainland and the threatening islands nearby. And what does a fisherman do when he's not fishing? A good voyage off to a good beginning. A happy ship, the Bernadette. Out of the Delta now and into the open waters of the Gulf. Another busy dozen days at sea, then back to Puerto Penasco, back home to Mexico.